He thought it was just a lost, scared alien kid, small, weak, crying in the dark. One bottle of milk, one simple act of kindness, would change the fate of a human forever. What he didn't know, that child was the heir to the most powerful alien empire in the galaxy. And now, every eye in the stars is on him. Alex's boots crunched over the broken metal and sand as he stepped cautiously into the ruins of the abandoned settlement. The planet, far beyond the mapped sectors of human space, stretched in endless deserts of reddish dust. The sun was low, casting long shadows across shattered buildings, their walls etched with strange symbols that glimmered faintly in the dying light. He paused, scanning the area. The settlement had been deserted for centuries, or so the record suggested. But something about the silence felt wrong. A faint noise, soft and irregular, drifted through the air, a small whimper, almost like a child crying. Alex froze, instinct and caution battling his curiosity. He had encountered alien wildlife before, but this sound, it was different. There was fear in it, vulnerability. It was the kind of sound that pulled at the human heart, no matter the galaxy. He followed the noise, moving carefully through debris. Pieces of metal and broken alien structures crunched under his boots. The whimper grew louder, sharper. Alex rounded a corner, and there, huddled under the shadow of a collapsed tower, he saw it. A small figure, no taller than his knee, shivering and weak. The child, or whatever it was, had skin that shimmered like liquid silver, reflecting the fading sunlight. Its eyes, wide and luminous, stared at him with terror. A soft, high-pitched whimper escaped his lips, and Alex felt his chest tighten. Instinctively, he knelt down, keeping his voice calm. "Hey, it's okay. I'm not going to hurt you," he said, holding out a hand. The alien child flinched but didn't run. Its eyes darted around the ruins, as if expecting danger to strike from every corner. Alex could see it was frail. Its small body was thin, almost fragile, and its limbs trembled. Hunger was obvious, but there was more, an almost palpable fear, like the child had been running for a long time. He unstrapped his ration pack and pulled out a small container of nutrient milk. "Here, drink," Alex whispered. He carefully approached, letting the smell of the milk reach the child first. The alien sniff hesitated, then, as if desperate, leaned forward and began drinking. The sound of the tiny gulping echoed in the ruins, a small, fragile rhythm against the vast emptiness around them. Alex watched closely, fascinated. He noticed patterns forming on the child's skin, thin, shimmering lines that glowed faintly as it drank. They weren't random. Symbols, intricate and elegant, ran across its arms and chest. His heart skipped a beat. These weren't just alien markings. They felt important, powerful. He'd read about alien hierarchies, about royal families and chosen heirs. Could this small, terrified being be one of them? He swallowed, unsure if he wanted the answer. The child's glow intensified slightly, pulsing in time with its breathing. Alex's mind raced. He knew the risks. Feeding an unknown alien species could trigger hostilities, alarms, or worse, but the child was helpless, and he could not walk away. A sudden movement from the corner of his eye made him tense. He turned sharply, heart hammering, but saw nothing. The ruins were empty, at least it seemed so. Yet something lingered, a presence. He couldn't see it, but he could feel it. A shadow fell over the rubble, shifting just at the edge of his vision. His stomach tightened. The child whimpered again, looking past him toward the shadow. Its fear was deeper now, almost instinctual. Alex's hand tightened around the milk container. He didn't understand what watched them, but he knew instinctively. Whatever it was powerful. Not an ordinary alien, not a predator, something higher. He slowly backed toward a wall, keeping the child between him and the shadow. "It's okay. Stay close to me," he murmured. He needed a plan, but his mind was racing too fast. The child finished the milk, its small hands trembling as it reached up toward Alex. For a moment, Alex allowed himself to feel a strange warmth, a connection forming, fragile and delicate, between human and alien. Then came a sound that froze him in place, a low, resonant vibration, like the hum of energy rising from the shadows. The air seemed to thicken, charged with anticipation. The symbols on the child's skin pulsed brighter, reacting to the presence that Alex could not yet see. Alex realized with a sinking feeling that the child was not just another alien. This was someone special, someone important, and someone was coming for it. He glanced around the ruins, looking for an escape, but the buildings were crumbling, the corridors narrow. The shadow moved again, subtle but unmistakable. Someone or something was watching, waiting, evaluating. The weight of it pressed down on him, cold and calculated. The child whimpered again, pressing closer to him. Alex tightened his grip around it. "I won't let anyone take you," he said, his voice firmer now, steeling himself. He didn't know who was out there or what they wanted, but he knew one thing for certain. He could not let them take this child. Above them, the last rays of the sun disappeared behind a jagged horizon. The world grew darker, the ruins more ominous, and the shadow lingered, silent but heavy. Alex felt it, a presence that could crush him with ease, and yet it paused, watching, waiting. And then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the sensation faded, leaving Alex and the child in tense, fragile silence. The danger had not gone. He could feel it in his bones. Something powerful had noticed them, and it would not forget. Alex looked down at the small alien child, whose faint glow seemed almost alive. He whispered, almost to himself, "I don't know what you are, but I'll protect you, no matter what." For a moment, the ruins seemed to hold their breath, and somewhere in the shadows beyond, the first stirrings of an empire began to awaken. Alex crouched behind the shattered wall. The small alien child pressed against him. The ruins were silent again, but the tension lingered, thick as dust in the air. The child's shimmering skin still pulsed faintly, reacting to every sound, every movement. Alex didn't know much about alien species, but he had learned one thing in his years traveling the stars. Some beings were more than they seemed. He unstrapped a small pouch from his belt, pulling out the last of his ration packs. He offered it gently to the child. "Here, more milk. You need it," he said softly. The child tilted its head, studying him, its glowing eyes focused, and then, almost with understanding, it reached out and took the container. With careful, trembling movements, it drank. Alex watched, fascinated. The child wasn't just hungry, it was learning. Every movement was precise, deliberate, like it understood what was happening. He extended his hand slowly, showing the child a small tool he had picked up from the ruins, a piece of alien technology, cracked and inert. To his shock, the child's glowing fingers brushed against the device, and tiny sparks jumped across it. Alex blinked. It wasn't magic. It was intelligence. The child understood cause and effect, simple tools and gestures, almost immediately. His heart raced. He had never seen a being so small show such rapid comprehension. "You're smart," Alex whispered, half to himself. The child looked at him, almost like it knew the compliment was meant for it. It reached up and touched his face gently, a gesture that made Alex freeze. The child's touch was light but deliberate, as if testing trust. Alex smiled faintly. "I got you," he said. "No one's going to hurt you." For the next few minutes, they sat together in silence, Alex offering scraps of food, soft words, and gentle guidance. He showed the child how to hold a small tool, how to protect itself if danger came. Slowly, the child mimicked his gestures, growing steadier and more confident with each movement. But outside, the galaxy was far from quiet. A low rumble shook the ruins, subtle at first, then stronger. Alex looked up, his heart sinking. High above the horizon, distant lights streaked across the sky, ships sleek and fast, scanning the planet's surface. He recognized the outline of the vessels from reports, Xylar Empire warships, elite reconnaissance fleets, feared across systems. Alex's mind raced. These ships weren't here by accident. They were searching for something. And that something, he realized with a chill, was a child. The child noticed too. Its glowing patterns flickered, brighter and faster, almost like it was scared but also aware of the danger. Alex's stomach tightened. "It's okay," he whispered, though his voice lacked conviction. "We'll figure this out." But the truth settled in like a heavy weight. This wasn't just a random lost kid. Something about this child had triggered the attention of the galaxy's most dangerous forces, and Alex had stumbled right into the middle of it. He scanned the ruins, looking for a way to escape or hide. The structures were unstable, but they might provide some cover. He took the child in his arms, moving cautiously from shadow to shadow. Each step felt like walking on a knife's edge. One wrong move and the child, or both of them, could be discovered. Then, without warning, a brilliant beam of light sliced through the sky, striking the ground just meters away. Alex ducked instinctively, shielding the child. The light coalesced into a holographic projection, hovering in the dusty air. A voice boomed, mechanical and authoritative, yet strangely calm. "Human," it said, You have taken what belongs to the Xylar Empire. Return the child immediately, or face consequences beyond your comprehension. Alex's pulse hammered. He stared at the projection. The image was that of an alien figure in ornate armor, glowing symbols marking its rank and authority. Every inch of its presence radiated power and control. The child whimpered, pressing closer Alex. Its tiny hands clutched at his uniform, seeking protection. Alex felt a surge of determination. He didn't know what this child was capable of or what the Empire would do, but he knew one thing. He couldn't just hand it over. "I won't give them to you," Alex said, his voice steady, carrying more confidence than he felt. "Not while I'm still breathing." The projection's eyes seemed to pierce him. "Your defiance is noted," the voice said. "You do not understand the weight of your actions. Surrender now, and your species may yet survive. Refuse, and all will pay the price." Alex swallowed hard. The threat was clear. These weren't empty words. The Xylar Empire didn't negotiate with ordinary humans. Yet, looking at the child's trembling form in his arms, Alex felt no fear for himself, only for it. He pressed a hand gently against the child's glowing head. "It's going to be okay," he whispered. "We'll get out of this. Somehow." The projection vanished, the beam of light collapsing into dust. But the warning lingered, heavy in the ruins. Alex's mind raced, planning the next move, weighing risks he had never imagined. Every instinct told him the Empire would not forget this encounter. The child looked up at him again, its eyes glowing faintly, almost as if it understood the danger and yet trusted him completely. Alex felt a strange warmth, a connection forming, fragile but unbreakable. He tightened his grip, scanning the horizon. The warships above hadn't moved yet. They were still searching, still waiting. And somewhere in the galaxy, the Empire was already mobilizing. Alex took a deep breath. The rules of survival had changed. This wasn't just about food, shelter, or staying alive anymore. This was about protecting a being who could change the balance of power across the stars, and proving once again that human courage and compassion could stand against the galaxy itself. And so, with the child in his arms, Alex began to move, quiet, careful, and determined, into the ruins, deeper into unknown danger, ready to face whatever the Empire might throw at him next. Alex ran through the ruins, the alien child clutched tightly in his arms. Dust swirled around them as the planet's wind picked up, carrying the scent of metal and decay. Every step was careful, measured. One wrong move, and they could be spotted by the scanners of the Xylar Empire warships above. The child, still trembling from the earlier encounter, pressed its glowing forehead against Alex's chest. Its small hands clutched at his uniform as if holding on to life itself. Alex whispered softly, "We're going to get out of here. Just stay with me." He needed a plan. The ruins were vast, but survival meant more than hiding. They had to find a way off the planet. Alex scanned the area, spotting what remained of an old alien data hub, its walls cracked and worn. He hoped the system still had power. Maybe he could hack into it, find some answers, or at least a way to escape. The child's eyes followed him, glowing faintly in the dim light. There was intelligence in those eyes, a sharpness that seemed far beyond its size. Alex couldn't shake the feeling that the child knew more than it let on. He didn't understand how or why, but something told him that the galaxy's deadliest forces weren't searching for just any lost alien. He reached the data hub and opened a panel, wires sparking as he connected his portable interface. Alien symbols flashed across the screen, indecipherable at first, but Alex was skilled. Slowly, he decoded the access sequences, bypassing security protocols. His pulse quickened. Time was against him. As the system unlocked, a stream of data poured in. Historical records, birth registries, military reports. Alex scanned quickly, looking for any clue about the child. Then he froze. His eyes widened. The child, his small, fragile companion, was not just any alien. The file confirmed it. Prince Koryn, heir to the Xylar Empire. Alex's mind reeled. The Xylar Empire was legendary, feared across the galaxy for its military might, its fleets of warships, and its ruthless enforcement of law. To hold their heir without permission was unthinkable. To harm him would be considered an act of war. His breath caught. Every instinct screamed at him to run faster, to hide better, to move silently. But the truth sank in. The child wasn't just endangered. It was the most dangerous treasure in the galaxy, simply by existing. Alex looked down at the glowing patterns on Koryn's skin. They pulsed faintly, almost like a heartbeat syncing with his own. I didn't know, Alex whispered, voice barely audible. I didn't know who you were. The child looked up at him, small hands brushing against his chest. Its glow flickered, reacting to his voice. Alex felt a strange warmth, part awe, part fear. Protecting this child wasn't just survival. It was a responsibility he could not ignore. Suddenly, the distant hum of engines grew louder. Alex's head snapped up. Shadows moved across the horizon. Elite Xylar hunters, sleek, armored figures trained to find the heir at all costs, were landing on the planet. Their ships descended, kicking up dust and debris, and armored troopers began to fan out across the ruins. Alex's heart pounded. "We have to move," he muttered, clutching Koryn tighter. He scanned the ruined streets, looking for cover. The hunters were organized, precise, and lethal. There was no way he could outrun them. In open ground, he ducked into a collapsed alleyway, pressing the child against the wall. The glowing patterns on Koryn's skin flared as if sensing danger. Alex whispered, "Shoot, stay calm. We'll hide here for now." His mind raced. He had a few options. Try to escape immediately, risk a direct confrontation, or hide and hope the hunters didn't detect them. But he knew the Empire scouts were relentless. One mistake, one signal, and they'd be surrounded. He scanned the data hub again, looking for a tactical advantage. Maps, patrol patterns, communication logs, anything that could give him a chance. Slowly, he pieced together a strategy. He would need to use the ruins, the terrain, and Koryn's unusual abilities, whatever those glowing symbols meant, to survive. But time was slipping through his fingers. The alien hunters were spreading, their presence tightening like a noose. Alex could hear distant footsteps echoing across the metal floors. He could see the glow of scanners sweeping through corridors, probing for signs of life. Every second counted. Alex looked down at Koryn. The child's eyes met his, wide and trusting. It was a fragile being, yet one with unimaginable importance. Alex felt a surge of determination. He would protect this child, no matter the cost, no matter the danger. The galaxy might be watching, but his responsibility was clear. A sudden flicker of light passed overhead. A hunter scanning the alley. Alex pressed Koryn against the wall, holding his breath. The scan passed, and the hunter moved on. His chest heaved. That had been too close. He whispered, "We can't stay here long. We need to find another hiding spot, deeper in the ruins, somewhere they won't think to look." Koryn's glow dimmed slightly, as if understanding. Alex felt a strange bond solidifying between them. He realized that survival depended not just on speed or cunning, but on trust. And right now, they were the only allies each other had. From the shadows, he heard the distant hum of communication signals, perhaps scouts reporting their location. Alex knew they wouldn't wait long. The Empire would not tolerate delay. And somewhere, deep in the galaxy, the rulers of the Xylar Empire will be aware that their heir had been taken. Alex swallowed hard. The stakes were clear. One wrong move could trigger a war. One mistake could cost countless lives, including his own. Yet as he held Koryn, he felt a quiet confidence. He had survived worse. He had fought impossible odds before, and he would do so again. He took a deep breath, hugging the child close, and whispered, "We're not out of this yet, but we're going to survive together." Above, the sky shimmered with the approaching ships, and the hunters continued to spread through the ruins. Time was running out, and Alex knew without doubt that this was only the beginning. Alex's heart pounded as he crouched behind the rubble. Koryn clutched tightly against his chest. The ruins were alive with movement now. Alien troops, sleek and armored, fanned out across the cracked streets. Their scanners swept the area with precise, deadly efficiency, probing every shadow, every corner. Alex glanced at the child. Koryn's eyes flickered nervously, glowing brighter as the tension rose. Despite its small size, the child seemed aware of the danger, sensing the approach of forces that had conquered entire star systems. Alex swallowed hard. He had never faced anything like this. Not pirates, not rogue factions, not even hostile alien patrols. But this This was a full-scale empire on his trail. He had to think fast. There was no way to outrun them in the open. The ruins were crumbling, unstable, and the alien troops were too organized. But humans had one advantage: ingenuity. Alex scanned the rubble, noting broken walls, loose debris, and old machinery left behind. He grabbed whatever he could use. "Stay close," he whispered to Koryn. "We're going to make them work for it." Alex set a simple trap first, a pile of debris, rigged to collapse if anyone stepped on it. Then he found shards of reflective metal and rigged them in the corners, creating decoys to confuse the Empire's scanners. He even rigged a small, malfunctioning energy panel to emit a pulse, drawing attention in a direction opposite to their escape route. The first troop stepped into the alley. Its scanner flickered, mistaking a glimmering shard of metal for movement. The panel pulsed, emitting a crackle of light, and the troop froze, confused. Alex held his breath, ducking behind a wall. The child watched him carefully, its glowing symbols flickering in response to every movement. Alex felt a surge of determination. He couldn't let them take Koryn, not now, not ever. Troop after troop advanced, more organized than any force Alex had ever faced. Yet each trap, each decoy slowed them, giving Alex and the child precious seconds. He moved silently, guiding Koryn through narrow passages, through crumbling corridors, using the ruins themselves as cover. Then came a sound that made his blood run cold, the deep hum of massive engines, unlike anything the patrols used. Alex froze. From above, a shadow fell over the ruins. Landing pads opened, and from them emerged towering figures, the leaders of the Xylar Empire, armored in black and gold, symbols of ultimate power etched across their chests. Alex swallowed. They were enormous, intimidating, and utterly alien, yet every movement radiated authority. The leader's eyes scanned the ruins, locking onto him instantly. One of them spoke, voice amplified through the empty streets. "Human, step forward and surrender the heir. This is your only chance to survive." Alex's jaw tightened. He looked down at Koryn, whose small body trembled but whose gaze remained steady, almost trusting him. The stakes were clear. Surrender could save him, but it would mean handing over the child to an empire that ruled through fear. He squared his shoulders. "No," he said, his voice steady and clear. "I won't give him to you." The leaders paused, a ripple of surprise passing through their ranks. They had not expected defiance from a human. One of them stepped closer, the ground trembling under its massive boots. "You do not understand the consequences," it said. "This child is the future of the galaxy. Your actions are dangerous. Surrender now and you may live." Alex met the alien's gaze. "I understand perfectly," he said, "and I won't let anyone hurt him. Not you, not anyone." The standoff stretched, tense and silent. Then Alex acted. He triggered his last trap, releasing a cloud of dust and debris that blinded the approaching troops momentarily. He grabbed Koryn and dashed through a narrow corridor, narrowly avoiding energy blasts that scorched the walls. His human reflexes and quick thinking allowed him to move faster than the Empire's armored giants could anticipate. But the leaders were relentless. They advanced, not just with troops, but with strategy, cutting off escape routes. Alex's heart raced. He could see no path forward, no way out. And then it happened. The child, small and fragile, reacted. Its glow intensified, pulsing like a heartbeat. The shimmering symbols on Koryn's skin expanded, swirling with light, illuminating the ruins in a radiant aura. The energy was powerful, almost tangible, and it surged outward, throwing back the alien leaders and forcing the troops to retreat for a moment. Alex stumbled, shielding Koryn, eyes wide in disbelief. What are you doing?" he whispered. The child didn't answer in words. The light pulsed again, protective, almost intelligent. It formed a barrier around them, shimmering and strong, enough to repel the approaching Empire forces. Alex realized something incredible. The child's power, whatever it was responding to fear, to danger, and Alex's own determination. The alien leaders froze, their massive forms hesitant for the first time. Even they were not prepared for this display. The city of ruins shimmered in Koryn's light, turning the tables in a way Alex had never imagined possible. Alex hugged the child close, whispering, "Stay with me. We're not done yet." He knew the Empire wouldn't forgive, But for now, they had survived the immediate threat. The child's mysterious power had bought them precious moments, enough to plan their next move. Above the ruins, the warships paused, scanning. The leaders hesitated, calculating their next action. Alex's heart raced, but amidst the fear, there was a spark of hope. For the first time, he realized that humans, his ingenuity, his courage, his compassion, could stand against the galaxy's most powerful empire. And for the first time, the child's trust in him was clear. Together, they had survived the impossible. But Alex knew the battle was far from over. The ruins echoed with silence again, the glow from Koryn fading to a gentle shimmer. And somewhere in the distance, the Empire's engines roared, preparing for the next move. Time was running out. The ruins were quiet now. The alien Empire troops had withdrawn, their armored forms receding into the distance. The warships above remained in orbit, scanning cautious, but the immediate threat had passed. Alex stood in the center of the ruined city, Koryn still in his arms, his chest heaving with exhaustion. For a long moment, there was only silence. Then a deep, resonant hum filled the air. The ground vibrated beneath him. Alex looked up, shielding his eyes against the glow descending from above. The alien emperor arrived, towering, armored, with symbols of command shimmering across his chest. He stepped through the debris, his gaze fixed on Alex. There was no anger, no fury in his stance, only awareness, respect, and something Alex could not quite identify. "Human," the Emperor said, his voice deep and commanding, echoing across the ruins. "You have done what few could. You have protected the heir of the Xylar Empire with nothing but your courage and your compassion." Alex swallowed hard. He had faced impossible odds, but hearing those words now, coming from the ruler of an empire that spanned the stars, made his chest tighten. I only did what I thought was right," he said, voice steady despite his exhaustion. The Emperor nodded slowly. "That is exactly why you succeeded. Power, technology, fear, these can bend many, but they do not bend all. Morality, bravery, and a simple heart, sometimes they are stronger than the might of the galaxy itself." Alex's heart skipped a beat. He realized the weight of what he had done. One small act of kindness, feeding a lost, scared child, had triggered this entire chain of events. One human heart had stood against the forces of a mighty empire and had been recognized for it. The child in his arms stirred, glowing softly, its shimmering patterns brightening. Koryn looked up at the Emperor, then back at Alex, eyes wide and unafraid. The Emperor's gaze softened as he saw the connection between the two. "Prince Koryn," the Emperor said, his voice quieter now, "you have chosen wisely." The child reached up, small hands brushing against Alex's face, a gesture of trust and attachment. Alex smiled faintly, a warmth spreading through him that had nothing to do with relief or safety. It was a recognition of something deeper. The child had chosen him too. The Emperor stepped closer, lowering his massive frame until he knelt on one knee before Alex. The gesture was unlike anything Alex had ever seen. In their culture, kneeling before another being was a sign of utmost respect. And here, the ruler of an entire empire was bowing, acknowledging the courage and morality of a single human. "You have proven that humanity is more than just a fragile species," the Emperor said. "Your bravery, your compassion, your willingness to protect what is right, it honors you, and it honors your kind." Alex's chest tightened. He had always believed humans could rise above fear, greed, and weakness, but hearing it from an interstellar emperor made the realization almost surreal. "Thank you," he said simply. The Emperor rose, and the soldier behind him followed suit, showing deference. It was clear that respect for Alex had spread through the ranks. Even the troops who had hunted him with relentless precision now looked upon him differently. Not as an enemy, but as a symbol of something greater. Alex looked down at Koryn. The child's glow dimmed to a calm shimmer, and he reached up to grip Alex's hand. It was a silent promise, a bond that neither time nor distance could break. Alex understood the significance. The child's choice to stay close was more than affection. It was a signal to the Xylar Empire that humans could be trusted allies, worthy of respect. "Prince Koryn will remain under your guidance," the Emperor declared, his tone carrying authority but also approval. "Together, you and humanity shall form a new alliance." One built not on fear, not on conquest, but on trust and honor. Alex felt a surge of pride and humility. He had started this journey, simply trying to survive, simply trying to do what was right in the moment. And now, through courage, ingenuity, and compassion, he had forged a bond that could reshape the galaxy. He released a slow breath and looked at the night sky, stars glimmering like distant lanterns across the void. The ruined planet beneath him seemed smaller now, insignificant compared to the vastness above. Yet, he knew the impact of his actions was enormous. One human, one small choice, had changed the course of an empire. Koryn nestled against him, safe and glowing softly. Alex reached up, brushing the child's shimmering hair from his eyes. "We did it," he whispered. "We made it through." The Emperor stepped back, surveying the scene, then spoke once more. "In a universe dominated by fear and power, you have shown us that humanity's greatest strength is not in weapons, ships, or numbers. It is in the heart, in courage, in kindness." Alex nodded, staring at the stars. For a long moment, the only sound was the wind across the ruins and the faint pulse of light from the child in his arms. He understood the truth of it now. One small act of care, one decision to protect instead of flee, had forged a future that stretched far beyond himself. He looked down at Koryn again, and then back at the stars. A smile crept across his face. It was quiet, modest, but full of realization. The galaxy was vast, full of danger, full of empires and wars. And yet, sometimes, all it took to make a difference was a simple heart. Alex took a deep breath, whispering softly, almost to himself. In a universe of fear and power, sometimes humanity's greatest strength is a simple heart. And with that, the ruins were no longer just ruins. They were the beginning of something new, an alliance forged in courage, a bond between species, and a reminder that even in the darkest corners of the galaxy, humanity could shine brighter than any weapon, any fleet, or any empire.